News Talk on Samar News, your go-to podcast for the latest headlines and in-depth discussions. Join us as we unravel the stories that matter most, bringing you insightful commentary and expert analysis. Tune in for thought-provoking conversations that spark dialogue and inspire action. Stay connected with the news that shapes our world, only on News Talk on Samar News.
Okay, let's unpack this. Imagine your retirement savings, right? The hard-earned contributions of government workers. Now imagine that money being invested in something the government itself is actively trying to, curb. That's the kind of fascinating and, frankly, eyebrow-raising situation we're diving into today.
Precisely. And what's really interesting here is how you have these different threads: financial stewardship, social policy, regulatory oversight. They all kind of converge.
Right.
So today, we're taking a deep dive into the recent scrutiny surrounding the Government Service Insurance System, GSIS.
The SIS, okay.
Specifically, its investment in an online gambling platform. We'll explore the criticisms, the defenses, and the broader implications for public funds, yes, but also for national policy against online gambling itself.
And you've given us a whole stack of really compelling sources here. We've got Senate speeches, presidential statements, even insights from the central bank.
That's right.
Our mission, basically to pull out the most important nuggets, connect the dots for you, and give you that shortcut to being, properly informed on this crucial topic. So here's where it gets really interesting. This whole discussion, it seems like it really kicked off when Senate Deputy Minority Leader Risa Hontiveros publicly questioned GSIS's investment decisions. She raised a critical question, didn't she? Basically, why did the Government Service Insurance System invest in online gambling?
Exactly. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, Hontiveros highlighted GSIS's investment of, get this, over 1 billion pesos in the online gambling platform DigiPlus.
1 billion pesos, wow.
Yeah. And she pointed out that GSIS bought these shares when they were really high, at a peak of 65.30 pesos.
Okay.
And they've since dropped significantly, down to a low of 13.68 pesos.
Ouch. From 65 to under 14.
It really raises an important question, What was the logic behind such a, seemingly high-risk investment of public funds, especially with such a dramatic paper loss?
Yeah, absolutely. So what does this all mean? Did Hontiveros just focus on the financial loss, or was there more to it?
Oh, there was definitely more. She didn't just stop at the financial loss. She pointed out this significant contradiction.
Contradiction?
Yeah, the Senate, the House, Malacanang, they're all taking strong initiatives and firm stands against online gambling because of its harmful social costs.
Right. That's the official line.
But then GSIS seems to be doing the opposite, investing public servants' retirement money to, quote, expand the e-gaming industry. That's the core of her criticism.
So it's a real clash, not just a questionable financial move, but it seems like it runs counter to stated public policy.
Exactly. And what's fascinating here is that Hontiveros also noted an apparent pattern. She used the phrase reckless and questionable investment decisions under the current GSIS leadership.
A pattern, so not just this one instance.
No, she cited another example. GSIS's stake, it's about 0.82% in Del Monte Pacific.
Del Monte, the food company.
That's the one. A company she described as teetering under $2.3 billion in debt.
Oh.
And that investment has already incurred an estimated paper loss of 19.1 million pesos for GSIS. That's like a 32.5% decline in its stake.
Okay, so she's painting a picture here of more than just one bad bet.
Right. And this led her to urge the Senate to step in, to review GSIS policies, strengthen compliance, increase transparency, and clarify any ambiguities. Basically, tighten things up.
Okay, let's unpack the response then. Naturally, GSIS reacted to these criticisms. What was their stance, especially on this big DigiPlus investment of over 1 billion pesos?
Well, if we connect this to their official statements, GSIS defended its actions primarily by asserting that the pension fund remains, quote, strong, secure, and actuarially sound.
So focusing on the overall health.
Exactly. They stated they welcome scrutiny and call for public disclosure and are prepared to present all the relevant documents.
Did they give any numbers to back that up?
They did. As of June 2025, GSIS reported 1.88 trillion pesos in total assets. Their net operating income was 76.82 billion pesos, which they noted was a 31% increase year over year.
Okay, that's significant growth.
And they also mentioned a 5-year average return on investment of 6.75%. So their defense really centered on the fund's overall stability and performance, less on the let's say, ethical dimension Hontiveros raised.
Right, less on the contradiction aspect. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. You might be wondering what the highest office had to say about all this. President Ferdinand Bong Bong Marcos Jr., was he aware of this GSIS e-gambling investment?
It's interesting you asked that. According to reports, President Marcos was actually unaware of the specific GSIS e-gambling investment when he was initially asked about it.
Unaware, okay.
But his focus quickly shifted, as you might expect, to the broader policy question. How does the government plan to address online gambling moving forward?
Right. So if he wasn't tracking this specific investment, what is the plan then, especially given what he acknowledged as the social cost?
Yeah, President Marcos noted that the main complaint against these activities is primarily that social cost. He seemed a bit skeptical that a total ban would be the complete solution.
Why skeptical?
Well, he cited the past prohibition on isobong, online cockfighting, which didn't fully eradicate the activity. It just went underground, essentially.
Okay, so a ban might not be a silver bullet?
That seems to be his view. He emphasized the need for a more measured response. And he's apparently crafting a comprehensive policy involving what he called a conclave of stakeholders.
A conclave. Who's included?
It's quite broad. Representatives from the Catholic Bishops' Conference of the Philippines, addiction specialists, teachers, parents, law enforcement agencies, and importantly, the Philippine Amusement and Gaming Corps, PAGCOR.
So bringing everyone to the table.
Seems like it. He stated that all possible solutions, including a ban, are still on the table, but only after these thorough consultations. It sounds like a pragmatic, maybe cautious approach.
Okay, so shifting gears slightly. What does this all mean for you, the individual, when it comes to online gambling? Beyond the investment debate, there's this layer of consumer protection, right?
Absolutely. And that's where the financial regulators are stepping in.
Like the BSP.
Exactly. What's fascinating here is that the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, the BSP, is finalizing new rules specifically aimed at protecting consumers from the risks tied to online gambling.
What kind of rules are we talking about?
Well, several things. Strict identity verification is a big one, potentially using biometric checks like facial recognition to make sure only eligible individuals are using their funds for this.
Okay, so trying to prevent underage gambling or fraud.
Precisely. And they're also implementing daily limits on gambling-related transfers. The idea is to reduce the risk of excessive financial losses in one go.
Limits make sense. Anything else?
Yes, also time-based restrictions. Trying to curb that sort of impulsive behavior, maybe late-night betting sprees.
Oh, okay. Like cooling off periods?
Sort of, yes. And furthermore, these measures will include tools for users themselves. Things like setting personal spending caps, taking voluntary breaks, or even opting for self-exclusion from all gambling transactions through their accounts.
So putting some control back in the hands of the user, too.
That's the goal. If we connect this to the bigger picture, the BSP states these safeguards aim to reduce the risks of addiction, fraud, and financial harm while promoting the responsible use of digital financial services. It feels like a pretty comprehensive approach to a complex issue.
Definitely sounds like it. Okay, let's try and sort of wrap this up. We've covered a lot in this deep dive, from those really pointed questions about public pension funds getting into, well, risky or controversial investments, to the institutional responses from GSIS, the president's sort of nuanced policy approach, and now these BSP regulations. It really shows how interconnected these seemingly disparate issues actually are, doesn't it?
It really does.
Yeah.
What's fascinating here, I think, is how this entire situation highlights that inherent tension. The tension between a pension fund's mandate, which is fundamentally to grow assets for its members.
Right, they make money.
And the broader societal concerns about the industries it chooses to invest in, especially when those industries clash with public policy or have known social costs.
Yeah.
It really prompts us, I think, to consider how transparency, accountability, and adaptive policymaking are constantly being tested, especially in such a dynamic economic and social landscape like we have today.
So what does this all mean for you listening in, this deep dive into the GSIS investment and the wider conversation around online gambling? It really raises an important question for all of us, doesn't it?
Yeah.
As technology continues to just rapidly create new industries, new investment opportunities, some potential very profitable, some maybe ethically complex, how do societies effectively balance that drive for financial growth and innovation with the absolutely critical need to protect public welfare and ensure, responsible stewardship of public resources?
That's the multi-trillion peso question, isn't it?
Exactly.
News Talk on Samar News, your go-to podcast for the latest headlines and in-depth discussions. Join us as we unravel the stories that matter most, bringing you insightful commentary and expert analysis. Tune in for thought-provoking conversations that spark dialogue and inspire action. Stay connected with the news that shapes our world, only on News Talk on Samar News.